Hey everybody, this is another update on my 2002 Insight CVT. I am really happy with this car. Done a few things in the last few days and kind of out today doing a little test. Still don't have tires in the car, so I'm not really going out in the neighborhood. But I did check the AC system and it is holding at a steady 42 degrees. Very comfortable and strong cold air. Been playing with the battery and testing out I think they call this second mode, but we're calling it sport mode. I am really surprised with the CVT. I've always heard these mostly criticized by Insight purists. With the air on, watch the acceleration. That's up a gradual hill with the air on, and I am just so impressed with this car. You're gonna hear some rattling. I gotta sort that out. That glove box just probably needs to be tightened or get a little damper put on it so it doesn't rattle. But in any case, again, I am so excited about this car. I like this car so much, I could almost see just keeping it and making it a second daily driver. There's something about the CVT that is really nice. I read somewhere that the CVT of this car, the Generation 1 Insight, has a normal, like real first gear, and then beyond first gear, look at that old Z car. 2 plus 2. And then beyond the first actual real gear, it's a CVT, a variable. I don't know if that's true, but this is a very sweet transmission. I'm just really happy with it. I did do a CVT transmission fluid change along with the burnishing procedure, along with the relearn procedure, which is, you can read all about that, but that's recommended in these cars just for fun. Not that this thing's a beast or anything, but let's just put it in AC off and do a little pull from first gear. Again, not that the car's supposed to be quick, but wow. I'm gonna say that this is probably quicker feeling than my current hacked 5-speed. It's incredible. And since let's get it out of second mode into drive mode. Since doing the burnishing and the CVT fluid swap, the CVT, not that it was choppy at all before, but I did notice a little weirdness off the line, and I read that was very common even with new cars. Now this car is just buttery smooth. The transmission, I'm just so happy. This is one of those days where, let's get that air back on. It's getting hot here in Georgia. So even after, just all the stuff I've been able to do, get the air conditioning serviced, the CVT again, all the procedures I did to that, and I did an oil change, just did a spark plug change, also just cleaned out the EGR, which I think I mentioned that in my last video. But man, I'm just like, after all those changes, spark plugs, EGR plate, EGR passage, EGR valve, cleaning that, cleaning off the pentiometer in there, oil and filter, air filter, cabin filter. What else have I done to this car? And then just again servicing the air conditioning, which again, it is holding at a consistent 42. And by servicing, I just mean that it wasn't quite blowing as hot as or cold as it should have. So I checked it with my gauge and added a small amount of Freon, and it is doing great now. It is just cold. So this thing is just the CVT. I, again, just can't say how happy I am with the I'm just very happy with how smooth it is. It is quite impressive. So this is an impressive car. This CVT Insight, for all the purists out there that are, that's the glove box. It's got a little rattle there. I'm gonna address that right now. Could just be that stuff I have in there. Another thing you do when you do the CVT procedure here, I'll just show you since we're here looking at it. I just copy and pasted this from Insight Central, but it's kind of a 7-step process. You start by disconnecting the battery, you do the burnishing procedure, I'll include all this for the next owner. Then you power brake, and that's the burnishing process. Change the fluid, and you do the PGM start clutch relearn procedure, and then the SCS start clutch procedure, and go through all that. You have to short the OBD2 pins. Anyhow, it's a thing that you're supposed to do that, you know, it's helps kind of reset and relearn the CVT. I'm actually going to leave that open. In any case, again, I'm beyond happy with this car. This CVT is quite nice, and yeah, zero problems. It is shifting buttery smooth, nothing off the line, no more issues. So whatever all the service I've done has really made a difference. And I'll just show you the car, because one more thing to mention is it did get covered. It just so happened that all the pine trees let out their sperm yesterday here in Georgia, so it's kind of covered in pollen, but you can see the pollen. Look at that, it's yellow. But I also did just do a detail on it 2 days ago, and I'm gonna show you what it looks like. This paint is in such good shape. Again, man, I'm thinking about keeping this car. It is just so nice. Wash all this pollen off of here. Just get it a little clean. And the paint just came out so well. Still need to get it registered, but we'll just clean all this off real quick and then show it to you. Of course, it will be wet, but you'll get an idea. This was a one-owner car before me, so I'm technically the second owner, although if I sell it, as I'm planning to, I'm, you know, kind of really not a real owner, because I'm only going to have owned it a few months and done my magic to it. But this car lived under a carport its whole life, so the paint is, I'm going to tell you, it's almost new looking. Not quite new, there's some blemishes, but it is what I would call a 9 out of 10. Good job. Just get all that pollen off, and then we'll take a look at it. That's good enough. Again, the car is wet, but just, you know, for those who've been following this restoration, refurbishing, whatever we're calling it, it is, headlights look great. Paint shines. You can see the beading because I polished it. Still haven't done the ceramic coat. I'm going to do that later. That's kind of the final process. But got all the trim cleaned. Got my spoiler on. The car came with this weird windshield wiper condom. I'm not real sure. I mean, that's what I call it. I don't know what it seems to be. But in any case, it's you can just see the paint is in such good shape. I mean, there is zero oxidation anywhere. And the clear coat is beautiful. There's a few things like the scratch right here. There's some things here like where there used to be a once license plate thing. And then I think I mentioned it in another video. There's a dent there. It had a minor, someone just kind of tapped it. So I might get that fixed, I might not. But in any case, this thing's trying to mind of its own. What's going on here? All right, that's my update on the CVT. She is doing good. Next up, tires, and got a couple other little things beyond that, and then just drive this thing. I'm going to put at least 1,000 miles on it before I think about selling it, because I want to make sure, you know, everything's worked out and make sure the battery's strong, which it is. You could see from that acceleration run. That's how you test the batteries in the IMA batteries, is you want to give it the full throttle and see if the battery quickly drops. That's the kind of the easy sign to tell that it's not any good. But this battery, it's 8 years old, but the previous owner, his first battery lasted him 13 years. He was very careful with it. He turned it off anytime he wasn't using it for a time. And then I mentioned this in another video, he actually has an additional cooling fan hooked up, so it's always cooling the battery when the car is on, and I think that probably preserved it. So I think this battery's got a lot of life left in it. But anyhow, I'm going to drive it, you know, put 1,000 miles on it probably, make sure there's nothing else, and then we'll put her up for sale. All right, the aluminum cam, that's what the previous owner named it, so that's what I've called it. There it is. It's an update. Next one update will be once I get tires on it, and I'll do some video in the dry where you can actually see the paint, minus the pollen, minus the water, and see how good it is, because it again really is great. So once I get the tires on and do that, I'll have another update video. But thanks for watching. Peace.